like the bigger guys who run around looking crazy and don't nobody have nothing to say to them, and you were saying it's about money. I think that that's where y'all be shooting yourselves in the foot, because like I keep saying time and time again, I think that's why so many men now are having such a difficult time understanding that women don't have to go get with some out of shape dude that they're not attracted to get money now. By and large, you do have some women who are after that and who are gold diggers and stuff like that. You always gonna have those, but by and large, you do not have this large society of women who are, just looking to be taken care of financially or need a man financially, so they're gonna forego other attributes from the man that they care about. And I think that that's why y'all having such a hard time, because I don't think the average woman is out here like, as long as he got money, I don't care what he look like. Like, no, we're like, we got our own jobs, we got whatever. We want to be attracted to you. We want to be attracted to you. We want you to have a good personality. We want other things. We don't need you to make sure we eat. We don't. We got our own food. We got our own money. Whatever. What else you got? And I think that's why y'all be getting so confused now, because it's 2021 and it's not like, well, because the women just want the money. Like, no, stop going after gold diggers.
It's not that rudimentary, but I think it's fair to say, and we can all agree that women value men for their resources, their ability to provide more than men value that from women. So that's the thing. Women
not in
value
2021, sir.
Most
households are dual income.
Yeah, that's how it is. But I'm saying what one values.
How much you got? How much I got? Let's figure this out.
Yeah, I'm talking about what one values stuff.
All right,
I hear what Kenny's saying as far as all those points. I think that was one of the issues with the transition to feminism. And I don't think modern women, I think there's a difference between societal expectations and primal expectations. And I think for the large part, women still held on to a lot of their primal expectations. So, if you say you can go out and work and make as much as a man, then, there shouldn't be as much on a man's back when he goes out. He doesn't earn much if you're able to work now. But, I think the primal nature of women is still they want to provide her someone who's better than them or who can make more. So,
nah, that's y'all, bro.
I kind of agree with you.
I'm sorry, that's y'all. In my experience, a lot of, like I said, you have a subset of women who are what you want to call quote unquote gold diggers, or who doing all of that other things, but average women are not doing that. And I think that what I see more so in average women, you say the women are having a hard time adjusting. No, I think a lot of women look for men who are self-sufficient or who do earn more than them, more so because of that man's ego, not because they scared that he not providing enough, especially if they have everything that they need. Is that a lot of times we do live in a society where men feel emasculated if they aren't earning, if they're out earned by their women. Like, they've done study after study that show that men whose woman earns more than them cheat more, because now they feel like they got to be a man in other ways. Like, I got to go do this because. So I think that's what affects women. They have a lot of experiences at times if they're dating a guy that feels intimidated or bothered by the fact that they make more money than them. They have a hard time adjusting.
Quick story.
Hold on, Dharma. Real quick. I was in the club. I was in the app Clubhouse room, and they had a whole room with all these women coming on the Clubhouse stage talking about the room was would you date a man who makes the average salary in America, which is what for a black man, which is $41,000 a year, and that was a whole issue. And every woman that got on stage was like, "No, I wouldn't." He was like, what if he had a good heart? What if he did that? Blah, blah, blah. And this is all coming from women. I wouldn't. He don't make enough. Blah, blah, blah.
Why did they say though?
Because they want to either they want to be stay-at-home wives, either because they want to provide for the children. They want to be more traditional. They want to take care of the household, and they want the man to work. Or they feel like the man should make at least as much as they make, which might be $70,000, $80,000.
But why did they say that they feel like he should make just as much?
Why?
Because they want to stay home, and then
So every woman has different reasons, but the reasons.
Hold on, Steven, 1 second.
But the reasons were things like they want the man to at least make as much as they make because they feel like that's only fair, or they want them to make over 6 figures so that they can stay home and properly raise their kids, homeschool their kids, et cetera, take care of the household. Or they just feel like if the man's not making more than they are, then they're not a man. Some of the reasons were silly, and some of them had a lot of content to it. So, but the point is, a lot of women were expecting a man to make a sufficient amount of money, more or at least equal to what they were making.
Yeah, but I'm telling
That's
you,
what's confusing to me.
I think the biggest reason behind it is being ignored. And like I said, in my experience, it's because men have a hard time. You just gonna ignore that whole part. So you're gonna say that men don't have a hard time with women who make out earn them. They do, and women know that. So women, so who's gonna sit there and continue to subject themselves to situations where they have to keep trying to downplay themselves or be like, I gotta make sure he feel like a man, like all the time. No, you're gonna be like, no, I just need somebody who make as much as me because I ain't even deal with all of that.
Okay, Steven, what were you saying? Go ahead.
No, I think it's natural that women start losing respect for a man once he earns less than her. You know, unless you got it channeled in that you're not worried about that, you know, you're gonna be looking at that as a sign of what type of man you got. And I think that's something largely in the Black community that we have to go on because of our financial and economic position.
So let me chime in on that because before I got married, I was making more money than my wife. I had 2 jobs, you know, military income and all this, right? So when I decided to move, I wasn't working anything, and she was making more money than me for years. I had friends, you know, and they was asking me like, "You don't, man, how you a stay-at-home dad? You don't mind your wife making more money than you and X, Y, Z and blah blah blah, and how you feel about that?" And my response was, I don't feel nothing about it because she still respected me as a man. We never had money issues. I did my part. I actually helped us save more money than spend more money because we had a kid and daycare cost so much. So it's all about the top that like we got to stop looking at these little groups of women and thinking that's the all of that. Like, of course you got your gold diggers, you got your broke women too. And most of the time those are broke women that wants this man that has all this money, right? So it's not too many of these broke women, and it's quite the way I look at it, it's more broke men than broke women.
Well, let me go back to the facts. Let me go to some facts, okay? So I think first off, I think Kevin Samuel's show and similar depictions of black men and black women and how they interact with each other is very misleading. Okay. If you watch the Kevin Samuel show, everybody that calls into the show is a woman that wants a man that makes at least 6 figures. But that's kind of like asking, oh, well, why does everybody who go into the candy store want candy? Like, why does everybody who walks into Home Depot want home stuff? Like, you know what I mean? It's like that's what they go there for. So you can't use that as a representation of all women. The truth of the matter, like the facts, are that average women date and marry average men. Most Black women date and marry men who are average earners, and the men make more than them. Most Black men make more. I'm talking about most. Okay.
But did you know that Black women were the only group that generally marry men who earn less than them out of other groups of women?
Those are women. So those are women who have gone to college and who have professional careers. We tend to marry men who make less money. Okay. And that makes sense because most Black men, this is not shade to Black men. This is just stats. Most Black men don't attend college. Most Black men are at like 42, around the 42K. So if you push yourself out of that range and you're a higher earner, chances are you will marry somebody as a Black woman who makes less than you. But most Black women marry men who make a little bit more than them, slightly more than them. So that brings me back to what Steven was saying. To me, it's perception. For him to say, oh, Black women don't, respect Black men when they make less, I think that is perception. I don't think that's true. Most of us are very well acclimated to marrying a man who makes more and who are their average earners. So that's the average Black family. So I think when men say that, a lot of times it's coming from experience. Like I've heard men say they had some girl who was dogging them out or treating them less than, sometimes they feel less than. I've experienced this myself where, like, I don't know if you guys, I don't want to tell too much, but where it's like they want you to be happy, but they don't want you up here. They want to make sure that they can stay here and you can stay there.
That's what I was gonna ask. That's what I wanted to.
All, but it's perception to sit here and be like, oh well, yeah, we don't get no respect because we only make this amount of money. That's not even what reality is saying.
But that's kind of what I wanted to ask them, because the conversation always centers around saying women want this, women want this, women want this, right? I just need them to tell me as men. Yeah. Do you know men out here who are clamoring to be like, "Ooh, I want a woman who make more than me. Ooh, she make more than me." How do men feel about women who out earn them?
Yeah. I don't mind at all. That's just motivation for me.
Tony, I already know what you're gonna say, but I'm saying in general.
Okay, not this man.
Not you in particular. I'm saying the general consensus of men out here, especially who are earning maybe those 40K earners. Okay. How do those men perceive, or are they going to treat women who out earn them? Do they have confidence?
No. But men don't really value that. Men don't really value that as much. Like, that's just not something.
No, that's okay. Okay, no, pause before you go into that. That's fine, right? I'm not asking you whether or not they value it. I'm asking you to tell me, in your experience with the men you're around, the men you see, or if a man making $30,000 a year, $40,000 a year, how is he with the women who are earning substantially more than he is? Would you say that those men are confident men to be going after women like that, or to be in relationships with women like that?
I would say it's. I don't have any experience with it, but I would say that it's like what Tony said. It's dependent on the woman, how the woman makes the man feel, how the woman treats the man, the respect she shows.
No, I think that it's contingent, just like my husband said, on how they friends and how the society and how other people make them feel. You know, you ain't doing nothing. Why you ain't doing it? And then they feeling some kind of way about themselves, right? Because they feel like they're supposed to be the breadwinners.
I think we should listen to what we hear women say. And that's just what they're saying.
But it's not just women who are saying it. I'm telling you.
We just went through this with the arbitrary things, right? It doesn't matter what women saying. The fact of the matter is they still settling with men that don't make, it's not 6-figure men. That's the bottom line of it. Women can say, I want a man that makes this much money, but in reality, they're not getting that man. That's just how it is. And on the flip side, men can say that they want a woman that don't want to work, that I don't want my woman to work and this XYZ, but guess what? They're with a woman that's working and splitting half the bills. That's reality. Unless you're talking about some Hollywood and celebrities and stuff like that, with the rich people, but that's not everyday people. Everyday people are with average people, and the man is making money and the woman is making money, and that's just how it is. Now,
but what reality really is, we're talking about marriage, but only like 75% of us aren't married. So we can say that this is what matters, but the average black person isn't married. So if we're talking about everybody, it possibly is a dynamic problem with if black women make more money on average than black men.
What about this marriage? What's this marriage stuff got to do with it?
That's what we're talking about.
Marriage?
Yeah, you guys gave on marriage.
So you have to be married in order to be with somebody? I thought we were just talking about couples, like people that's together, like, because if you share a household with somebody and you're not married, are we talking about those people too, or just married?
But I mean, how common is that, like a lifelong partnership?
I think that's way more common than you think. A lot of people get engaged and never get married, and they play house for a long time. So, I mean, everybody I know, I think I have like maybe 4 married friends, and the rest of them are living together with kids, and they're not married, and that's just normal now. No, everybody's not getting married like back in the days. I mean, building lives together and buying houses together and living with each other and not married. I
don't understand, or I have a question for you, Rashad. Is why I say, why do we leave out of the conversation? Because I mean, I'm fine having the entire conversation. Like I say, we could talk about the gold diggers, right? We could talk about the women who want to be traditional. We could talk about the modern one. We could have 360 conversation that encompasses all of the things. I guess what I'm asking is, why is one of the pieces that's getting left out of the conversation that men a lot of times do feel emasculated on their own, not because a woman did it, if they earn less? Why are we leaving that part out of the
Because
conversation?
those guys are just weak. They're weak-minded guys. As simple as that. This is a population of guys that don't feel comfortable with women making more because they have some type of issue with it. It's just as simple as that.
Well,
I don't think there's any deeper than that.
And also,
But don't
again,
you think that's a societal thing, because it's seen that men are supposed to be the breadwinners, and when that does not happen, that then they feel like they're not fulfilling that role that is assigned to them.
Yeah, possibly.
And that
They know they did.
issues.
They know they didn't reach their full potential because here they is with their partner's making more. They feel like they should be doing more. They know they could have, and for whatever reason they didn't do it. And so they feel a certain way about it. You know what I mean?
I guess so.
Right.
So what I'm saying is, so when we're talking about what women desire or what women are choosing to date, why do we leave that aspect out of the conversation as well? That could also be a reason. Because, like I say, I know for me, like what my husband said, one of the things that I'm really appreciative about from him is that he doesn't behave that way. But in general, no, I would not be out here actively seeking a man who earns less than me, because in my experience, you have to do too much to make yourself smaller to make them feel okay. Because like he said, maybe another guy wouldn't have been able to handle that as much, like your wife earns more than you, and then they got to just go out of their way to try to prove all of these other things in other ways. And so it's like, no, I don't want to deal with that. And it's not because I naturally want a man to make more than me. Like, I'm very successful. I'm good over here. But what I'm saying is that what I don't want to have to do is make myself smaller to make you feel bigger. That would be my mindset, not because I'm a woman and I just want a man to make more than me and it's natural. No, it would be because I don't want to deal with your
I think you're speaking more idealism versus reality. And I feel you, like the way you're talking, that's how it should be.